How's it, guys? Welcome back to the Wild Protea with me, Clinton Jarman. Thanks again for joining me. As you guys saw during the Christmas break, during the Christmas period, I did take a break. First break I've taken in about 2 years from the Wild Protea. But during that time I had some time to think, and what I've decided to do is make the Wild Protea a purely cricket channel for now. But we can expand later on and speak about other stuff, or when I have guests on, we can talk about anything really. So that is what the Wild Protea is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where we can come and chat and talk and have a good time. So that's what I wanted to be. But the cricket side of things, I've always got more reactions, more tweets, more followers, more conversations going with cricket. So that's the route I'm going from now. But we can always expand it later on. First of all, first show of the new year, Happy New Year to everyone. And as I said, we're continuing with cricket, so we're going to get into a bit of a test recap of the test series against Sri Lanka. First test, innings and 45 runs, victory, great performance. Unfortunately, Sri Lankans seem to be a bit underprepared in the fitness department. Then second innings we won by 10, second game we won by 10 wickets. Notable mentions. First and foremost, we've got to look at the debutant, Luther Supamla. Now, guys, there were a lot of guys saying nasty things on Twitter about, Luther being a quota player. First and foremost, the lad averages 26 in first class cricket, which isn't too bad if you ask me. And last season, he was the top wicket taker. So, if everyone's calling for Wild Protea to be in the team as the top wicket taker, then why shouldn't Luther be in when he averaged 24 with the ball last season and was the top wicket taker among seamers last season? Just a thought. Credit to Luther for bouncing back from a shaky first day. I thought he bounced back nicely, took a 4-for, ended up a 6 in the game. You couldn't ask for more on your debut, and ended up with 10 wickets in the series, which is pretty good if you ask me, for a new lad coming in. And then obviously, Faf getting runs, showing his leadership in the dressing room, showing his senior status, also proving the critics wrong. A lot of people were talking for him to retire. I'm not one of those people. I think he's got a lot more to offer to the South African team, test team, one-day team. One-day team particularly for me, I think he'll only play probably 1, maybe 2 more years of test cricket, but then he'll probably try and make that 2023 World Cup squad. And if he performs well, you can't deny the man. He's been a stalwart of South African cricket, and I love Faf. He's a magic guy. In the field, he looks pretty vocal as well. You can see he's a leader, man. That's what I like, and you can take the pressure on whoever is the captain. Obviously, in the Test series going forward, and in the one days with Kuni, he can help Kuni a lot. Obviously, 199, he missed it out on that elusive 200. That seemed to be a thing with South African players. That 200, like Jacques Kallis took so long to get it. Dean Algo missed it by 1 run. Fafs now missed it by 1 run. The only guy who made 200s, his bitch, or so to say, was A.B. de Villiers and Hashim Amla. Hashim Amla got a few 200s, and the only guy to get 300. So credit to Amla there. Then Markram, he started well, but we know with Markram it's the consistency now that he needs to get. Markram, guys, I think he gets a lot. Of stick for nothing. The lad averages 38 in Test cricket. That's pretty good if you ask me, considering that Dean Alga before this Test series started was averaging under 40. So 38 is not that bad. But yeah, like we said, also, Aiden needs to get that consistency. He needs to get those big hundreds now to shut everyone up. And I think a tour against Pakistan, where Pakistan might be smarting a bit after getting thrashed by New Zealand, I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to get some runs. And then Alga showing his class, 90 odd in the first test, 100 in the second test, and then a not out again, chasing the runs down. So Alga showing that class is permanent and form is temporary. And Alga's always one of those guys who seems to be one knock away from being dropped. I don't know why, I don't know how, but he always seems to be that guy. that always is on the chopping block. You know, when Peter Malan came in, they were like, should we go with Peter and Aiden? I was like, I don't know. And then you look at the stats, and he's the top run scorer among opening batsmen over the last 5 years, and you think, well, how could you ever drop a guy like that? Anyway, credit to Algo for proving his critics wrong. He always makes batting look extremely difficult, I must admit. Oh, little Biff, or Mini Biff, or whatever they call him, Mini Biffy. He looks very awkward in his batting, but hey, it works for him, so we can't complain there. Bowling wise, Lungi Ngidi leading the attack. Now, Lungi Ngidi doesn't look like a natural leader of the attack to me. I think he's going to benefit from a guy like Rabada coming back in, but you can see Lungi's growing in confidence. For me, the consistency isn't quite there yet. He bowled well in patches. I would love to see Lungi Ngidi bowl longer spells though. There was a moment there in the second test where he was on 4 he had bowled 5 overs. He was blowing a bit, but for me, he's got to push through that. Sometimes when you push through that, you get that wicket, you get the adrenaline rush, you get 2, maybe 3 more even, and then that sets you up for and gives you confidence for the rest of your career. Basically, like that sets you up to know that you can push through that barrier. You know, it seems to be mental with him at the moment. There's a mental barrier there that stops him from continuing his spell. Maybe it's the injuries, he doesn't want to get injured again. But for me, I think you got to push through that barrier. I know if I was on that field and I'm on 4 there's no ways on God's green earth that you're going to take that ball out of my hand when I'm on 4 I don't care how much I'm blowing. If I get hit for 20 in the next over, then by all means take me off. But if I'm bowling well, you're not going to get that ball out of my hands. You know, the same thing with Dale Steyn back in the day when he got that look in his eye. My goodness, you just knew something special was going to happen. Like, remember a while back when we played, I think it was at PE, and he just ripped through the heart of the Australian lineup, and that was after a long spell. So I think he's got to push through those long spells. Really, I do. Then Anrich Nortje looks like he's going to be a very, very good bowler for South Africa. I'm not sure what he's going to be yet. He looks like he could be a world beater, but he's developing nicely. I think the areas he's bowling is much better now. One thing I would love to see a bit more from Nortje is the aggression. Like, you need to realize when he's got a team down and out, and he needs to put foot on the throat and finish them. Like, Karuna Rakne should never have got to 100. He should have been bounced out. Just bowl at his head. Like, you've got the pace, and he was uncomfortable the day before when he batted the whole day on 80. He looked nowhere against the short ball. So just, I want to see him be a bit more aggressive with that short ball. I know he doesn't want to fall into the mold of a Dwan Olivier, just bomb everyone, but I feel sometimes that a concerted effort in the short balls will help him. Right, more. The all-rounder, Vian Mulder, yes, he obviously did great in this test series. Looks a decent prospect for South Africa. I think what we need to do with him is be patient. There will be performances, under-par performances. There will be great performances, but I think we need to be patient. He's one for the future. He's 22 years old, so we need to be patient with him. We also need to remember that he's batting all-rounder. So in the future, I think that the management team see him batting in the 4-5 position and chipping in with the ball more than bowling long spells. So I think we need to nurture him now. We need to look after him. We need to make sure that we need to try and make sure that he gets some runs under his belt as well. We don't want him to become a one-dimensional all-rounder, if you understand what I'm saying there. But he looks a great prospect for the future, and he bowled really, really well. Yeah, and looks good. He reminds me a little bit of Vern. You know, similar pace-wise, moves the ball both ways. But yeah, looking ahead to Pakistan, I think we're going to take a big squad. Obviously, I think maybe a couple more spinners are going to come into the mix. Big squad, obviously, due to COVID, you know, travel restrictions and that sort of thing. And also, you can't really just fly guys in anymore. So I think we'll take a big squad. Also, considering the T20 series is straight afterwards as well. Guys, we're probably looking at in the spin department: George Linder, Tabrei Shamsi, Sean van Berg, Matusani. These are all guys that have performed well, that are pretty much in the top wicket takers in the 4-day series. So look for those guys. I think we'll probably go with Kesh and Linder as a frontline spin option. I see a lot of guys on Twitter saying Van Berg, but I'm not too sure about that. we'll have to wait and see who the management team think are going to go forward. Like I said, big squad, huge news for South Africa. Kagiso Rabada is fit and available. He was available for the last test, but he didn't play because they were obviously they want him to be fit and firing for Pakistan, and obviously Australia coming after that. I am so excited to play against Australia. I'm not looking past Pakistan, but I'm so excited for that series against Australia because I think the boys are going to turn up. I really do. And then last but not least, I think the batsmen need to step up in this test series. We saw guys that were under pressure score runs this series. The likes of Aiden, he got a little bit of runs. Dean Alga, huge runs for him. Temba got some runs. Faf got some runs. He's been under pressure. So we need to see more from those guys. The senior guys really need to step up. One person who hasn't scored many runs is Quinton de Kock, and it's not a concern yet. But batting at 5, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Quinton. If you guys have seen my past podcasts, you will know that I think he should be batting up there, and I think he will score runs. It's just a matter of time with Quinny. I think Quinny needs to just get some runs and get some confidence back into his setup. He looks just a little bit devoid of confidence at the moment, and I think he'll get that back once he gets some runs. And also, I think we can beat Pakistan in Pakistan. Rawalpindi and Karachi, obviously, I don't know much about Pakistan, but generally subcontinent turns a bit and the wickets are a bit slower and lower. So, and also, guys, Pakistan will be smarting after being thrashed by New Zealand. So, it's a good opportunity for us to go there and stake a claim and say, hey, listen, we are back now, and we want to get amongst it. Obviously, we're going through a little bit of a transition period where guys are coming in. We're seeing a lot of young new faces, which is good. But I think we still need to remain competitive, and the way we remain competitive is by the experienced guys coming to the fore now. The Temba Bavumas and the Faf du Plessis, Rassie van der Dussen. I know he's young in his international career, but he's got enough first-class experience to be an experienced player. Quinny needs to step up. Alga needs to step up. Aiden Markram needs to step up. Rabada needs to step up and take the bull by the horns, as it were. And those are the experienced guys that need to stand up and be counted now. Right, that is all I have from the cricket side. I know I said I was going to stick to cricket, but I have to just mention congrats to Percy Tau. It's been a long struggle for you, on loan spells and work permits and blah, 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 blah. And who would have thought Brexit would have brought about Percy Tau to the Premier League? If I had known that, I would have campaigned for Brexit long ago. Anyway, congrats, Percy. I wish you all the best at Brighton. I know you're going to rip up trees there now. And hopefully we'll see you in a United shirt soon. Other than that, guys, have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys again next week. Don't forget to like my page on Facebook. Give this video a like and subscribe on YouTube. And guys, see you next week and have a lekker weekend. Cheers.